catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of the Daily Tribune's Straight Talk. And we are your hosts. I'm Donna Policar.
I'm John Dodson.
And good morning, John.
Good morning, Donna. And sa ating guests.
Oo nga, sa ating guest. And in today's episode, we will be speaking with one of the most talked about local chief executives in Metro Manila. We hear a lot of good things about him, and especially his government's effort to fight the pandemic. He is lauded for making Valenzuela among the forefronts of the most progressive cities in the metro. Today, we are joined by no less than the city mayor of Valenzuela, Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hi, John. Hi, Donna. Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning. Maraming salamat.
Yes, the pleasure is ours, sir.
Maraming po salamat, Mayor, for being here with us today. Siguro, Mayor, I know you are very busy, so simulan na po natin yung ating discussion. Una-una, congratulations po sa mga recognition na natanggap ng administrasyon nyo saka ng Valenzuela with regards dito sa coronavirus pandemic saka sa livelihood generation. Ano po bang latest ngayon, Mayor?
Well, John, like most Metro Manila cities, I think hindi lang naman Valenzuela, no? But everybody is seeing a rapid decline of active cases from a high of 1,200 nung right after ECQ. Right now, we're at our all-time low of 177 active cases, and it's still going down. So it's a very good sign. Now, I can't say naman na Valenzuela lang. Like I said, it's a metro-wide effort dahil the cities of Metro Manila are intertwined. What one does has an effect on the other. Remember, yung mga tao natin sa Metro Manila, they're very mobile. They move from one city to another. So, fairly good news. And I hope tuloy-tuloy na to. Kasi 177, sabi ko, konti na lang yun. That's barely one isolation unit.
Actually, we would like to congratulate you pala, sir. Kasi recently, the Department of Health commended him for Valenzuela's isolation efforts. Sir, can you walk us through kung ano ba tong isolation effort ng ginagawa ng Valenzuela?
Actually, hindi pa kami nasasabihan ng DOH. To be very honest with you, I've only been reading about it over social media accounts. Pangalawa kayo sa ulit na nagbanggit niyan sa amin. Hindi pa kami nasabihan. The first time nakita ko yan sa Twitter account ni Mayor Vico, apparently Pasig was lauded for their treatment effort, and then he listed down yung mga nasabi sa kanya ng DOH na mga iba pang LGU. And kasama nga doon yung Valenzuela for our isolation efforts. Now, siguro simple lang the heart and soul of our isolation effort na siguro kinatutuwa ng national government or ng IATF, yung no home isolation policy, no home quarantine policy. Literally from day one dito sa Valenzuela City mula nag-start ang pandemic, hindi na tayo pumapayag na may home quarantine. Talagang pag nag-positive ka, we bring you to one of our 14 isolation units. Now, it doesn't matter if you're economically better off than the rest. Basta mayaman, mahirap, babae, lalaki, matanda, bata, you're carted off to our isolation unit where you are treated, no, in the sense na mga asymptomatic naman to or mild symptom. Kasi all our isolation units will have 24/7 medical assistance. May mga doctors and nurses on board to make sure na in the event that a patient needs medical assistance because he turned for the worst, nandun sila. So I think the very essence and the heart and soul of the isolation protocol of Valenzuela is the no-home quarantine policy, which, Donna, if I may recall, galing rin naman sa national government yan. Kami sumunod lang talaga kami. Pero sa amin talagang matibay at masusi naming sinunod. At one point, we were running 14 isolation units with around 1,300 beds. That's probably, sabi sa amin ng IATF, that's one of the largest in the country for an LGU.
So, Mayor, medyo maluwag na ngayon yung mga isolation facilities natin considering that the numbers are going down and according to you, sana nga magtuloy-tuloy na since Metro Manila is practically borderless, so kabit-kabit talaga.
Sir, John, let me ask, Mayor. Sir, libre ba to? Wala ba tong bayad?
Donna, everything in our COVID protocol, from the contact tracing to the testing to the isolation, lahat yan libre. The LGU takes care of it. Pati yung testing, we were one of the first LGUs, or if not the first LGU to do localized mass testing, and libre yan.
Unless, of course, pag ipinasok na siya sa private hospital. Pag medyo severe na yung case. Doon,
even in that angle, nakakatulong tayo. We try to subsidize the bills together with PhilHealth. Kasi technically, Donna, malaki ang sinasagot ng PhilHealth for covered COVID. Malaki ang coverage ng PhilHealth. So, yung mga miscellaneous at yung mga residual na natitira, tumutulong din yung local government doon.
Oh, okay.
Mayor, wala namang hubang problema with regards to yung finances kasi ang Red Cross nagreklamo sa PhilHealth na hindi raw nababayaran.
John, honestly, hindi rin kami naman nabayaran ng PhilHealth. It's a very sad fact, no?
Magkano na, sir, ang utang sa inyo?
We were the first LGU to do localized testing. We're now up to 36,000 individual tests, no? Of which siguro mga 25,000 yan are locally bought kits and everything processed by the LGU through partner labs or our own lab. We tried to reach out to PhilHealth but medyo magulo pa sila eh. I think they're in the flux right now, and I don't blame them after what we've been hearing and reading. I think they're doing housekeeping work. So hindi kami nababayaran, pero dyan pagtatanungin mo kami if resources is a problem, it always is, lalo na ngayon. These are unprogrammed expenses, remember? So wala naman sa radar natin tong COVID, so we have to divert a lot of our operating funds to COVID response. So how do we do it? Well, number one, we had to do with unnecessary expenses, no? Yung mga pwede namang matanggal. Halimbawa, total wala namang events, wala namang convergence, all meetings and trainings were suspended. So may mga savings tayo doon. We also imposed a freeze hire in City Hall except for essential personnel, meaning yung mga hindi naman essential offices at this point, those that are not part of disaster or COVID response. We're not adding more staffers. Lahat dinadala namin sa COVID response. Naiintindihan naman ng taong bayan ng Valenzuela na like most families, there has to be some cost-cutting measures. That's prudent fiscal management in these times. Hindi natin pwede dyan sabihin lagi na wala na kaming pera, titigil kami. We have to find ways to creatively finance our expenses. These are unprogrammed expenses. Hindi naman walang LGU nakakita nito kaya medyo lahat kami nagulantang. And ang good part though, John, if I can point it out, the national government during the ECQ allowed the LGUs to divert all its disaster fund to COVID response, which the Valenzuela City government did. We did that. Pero inalaw na rin kami na yung city development fund namin i-divert doon. That's one thing na hindi namin ginawa because naniniwala kami dyan na kahit may pandemic, development of the city has to take place. So that's one thing we did not touch, our city development fund. We kept it intact. We just found other fund sources to finance COVID.
Tama ka dyan, Mayor, kasi di ba ang push mo dati talaga before the pandemic to make Valenzuela City a livable city. Kaya talagang hindi pwedeng tumigil ang development. Mayor, maganda yun sa coronavirus natin, hindi lang ang Valenzuela, kundi ang Metro Manila and siguro all over the country, bumababa ang numbers natin. In terms naman po nung livelihood sa Valenzuela, ano po ba ang estado ng mga tao natin? May hanap buhay po ba? Food on the table?
Well, Dan, alam mo, looking at the current numbers, most of the medium or big scale corporations are still okay. Wala kaming rash of closures dyan sa sector na yan. Ibig sabihin, they just deferred their expenses. They probably had enough fats quote-unquote fats, no? To go through the winter that we went through nung nag-hibernation mode tayo lahat. Pero now that the economy is bustling again, they're working. They're producing. And if I may point out, kasi remember, Venezuela is an industrial capital or the industrial capital of the country. We probably have the most number of industrial establishment per square kilometer than any other city in the country. We're proud of our industrial heritage. And nung ECQ, marami sa mga kumpanya namin, dahil food-related sila, they're part of a supply chain for energy and for food, they were able to operate. So hindi sila talaga totally nag-shutdown. Kasi essential sila during the pandemic. So sa awa ng Diyos, may mga kumpanya tayo na lumaki pa yung sales because they became the sole distributor of certain products during the ECQ. Now, ang mas masakit, yung mga MSMEs natin, yung mga micro, small, and medium enterprises natin, marami talaga sa kanila din nagamit yung working capital during the pandemic for other expenses. Kaya yan ang pinagtutuunan natin ng pansin ngayon. And how are we doing it? If you notice, there's this sudden digital push for going to the digital marketplace. Yung mga restaurants na maliliit, nagsara, pero they brought their operations back home to home-based kitchens and delivery services. There's suddenly a spate and a rush of that. Hindi lang sa Valenzuela I think kung saan kayo dyan or doon na nakatira, nakikita nyo ang daming ganyan ngayon bigla. And number two, it bodes well with the concept of staying at home. So marami sa mga pamilya, takot pa rin lumabas, but they're ordering out. And it's somehow spurring consumer spending in a very safe way. So what is the LGU going to do, or what is the LGU doing with our MSMEs? We're helping them go through the digital marketplace. That's why nga, we established a digital portal working with a private page curator. Now we're spending, everybody goes to that marketplace and then we're advertising it through boosting, through banner ads to make sure that may awareness na if you want something and you need to buy something, there's an online marketplace for Valenzuela sellers. Parang let's buy local type of campaign.
Actually, sir, maganda talaga yung yung campaign nyo na yon. And we often see you sa social media. You're so active in social media promoting the local brands, yung mga, nabanggit mo nga, yung mga MSMEs natin, na talagang dinadala mo. You said it yourself, na sinasama nyo sa boosting ninyo siguro sa social media. And we've seen, mukhang foodie nga rin si sir. Di ba? Nakikita mo yung mga every time na meron siyang post sa social media.
Maybe we can ask si Mayor he gained some weight during this pandemic.
I did, and I'm trying to lose it.
Sir, one good thing is that you promote the micro, small, and medium enterprises. How are these MSMEs contribute to the revenue-generating mechanism of your local government?
At this point in time, medyo infancy stage pa sila ito. Na remember, the sudden digital migration is still quite new. So nasa infancy stage pa sila. Pero I really believe na it helps the overall local economy in the sense na pag may pera ang mga tao sa bulsa and umiikot lang sa sistema, it's first consumer spending. Yan ang kailangan natin ngayon for people to go out and somehow spend despite the difficult times, no? At least for basic necessities lang like food. So, in terms of direct contribution to the local coffers, wala pa. Kasi bago pa ito mga digital marketplace natin. Pero in terms of consumer spending, definitely meron. I just don't have the data right now, but meron yan. Kasi you're starting backyard, parang mas mababa yung barrier to entry for these home-based entrepreneurs. Remember dati, pag magtatayo ka ng kiosk or ng restaurant sa malls, you have to do a deposit, bayad ka nito, bayad ka niyan. Well, here, it's just homegrown, nasa bahay sila. Pretty much, ang binabayaran lang siguro niyan, overhead and yung cost of sales nila. So, we believe na because the barrier to entry is quite low, mas mabilis sila makakaungos and gradually titibay sila, tatatag sila. Doon na mabalik ko lang kung ba't ko ginagawa yung ako nagpo-promote sa Twitter page ko. No? Remember, over the years kong mayor, malaki yung local following ko sa Twitter na mga bata or mga magulang na nag-aantay ng announcement kung walang pasok. Diba? So lumaki yun, lumobo yun. So pati yung Valenzuela page. So now we're using it to good use. Most of these home-based entrepreneurs, they have naman everything digitally. They have a digital footprint. May Facebook account yan, may social media account yan. It's just to get through the clutter. Sabi nga nila, Mayor, yung mapauna mo lang na may ganito, to spur awareness. Remember, it's always about awareness kasi ang dami, clutter di ba? So, yun lang nahabol nila sa atin. Pero kami, we went a step further. May sustaining efforts. We collated an online directory for them of all local sellers. And we're pushing that directory para yung mga tao doon nahahanap ng kanilang mga kailangan na bilhin.
In terms of Mayor, microfinancing for this upstart, meron po ba kayo niyan?
Meron, John, it's actually not a pandemic program. Matagal na tayo, we do microfinance in Valenzuela. 2 ways. John, either direct loaning to the end user. Matagal na yan. We've had a couple of success stories. Pero ang mas gusto namin, yung microfinancing wherein alam mo, John, the local governments kasi hindi naman namin expertise ang banking or ang credit management pero trabaho namin na makatulong na mapalago ang livelihood ng mga tao. So over the years, we've partnered up with established cooperatives wherein sila ang magmamanage ng credit. Pero kami, we buy these entrepreneurs, we pay for the paid up ng mga paid-in capital ng mga local entrepreneurs doon sa co-op na yun. Remember, ang co-ops, matibay-tibay yan. They have a full-base staff that's managing their operations from credit collection to loaning to making sure na maganda yung business proposition. So, ilang pinauubayan namin yan. It's a form of a PPP, wherein the local will give the paid-up capital, pay-in capital, kami magbabayad nun kasi yun yung barrier para makasali ka sa co-op And then, to the same degree naman, the co-ops themselves do the microfinancing and the management. Marami kaming naging success stories niyan in terms of, remember, yung mga drug rehabilities na bumalik na sa community. We all bought them cooperative memberships. We paid in the capital. So doon na sila umuutang, pero yung paunang pagbili, local government ang bumili.
Ayun. Okay. Ibig sabihin, nakadevolve yung expertise ng handling this nitty-gritty ng businesses, ang mga upstart sa mga cooperatives. Siguro, Mayor, magandang yung mga ibang LGU, that may be a magandang formula to also adapt.
Kasi, John, I found out na, number one, we also have to help our co-ops, no? They're up against, these big banks kasi right now, meron na silang mga microfinance arms nila. And sooner or later, they will start, or they have started penetrating what used to be traditionally cooperatives markets. And kawawa rin ang co-ops. Alam nyo, ang co-ops natin are an integral part of our community. Ano yan parang membership-based ownership, walang isang may-ari. So, na-realize namin na 2 of the 100 million peso co-ops, the biggest co-ops in the country, are in Valenzuela. So, may track record, may expertise, so dinevolve natin or pinartner up natin sa kanila.
Okay. John, babalikan ko lang si Sir tungkol dun sa social media pa rin,
Okay.
Kasi napaka-active kasi niya And we know na ang social media natin ngayon may pagka-revolutionary
Parang millennial talaga.
Meron nga.
Yung parang revolutionary siya, parang you get to voice out yung yung opinion mo freely. Kaya lang sabi nga nila, freely nga ba? Baka mamaya ma-red tag ka, di ba? Pero sir, many young people are into this kind of platform. We all know that. At mukhang yun yung niche ngayon na tinatarget mo. But what can you say about the woke culture? What advice
let's just go through it one by one.
Okay.
Baka akalain ng mga tao, I spent a whole lot of my time doing all these social media accounts personally. Ako, I've come to a philosophy myself na you choose your preferred weapon or your preferred medium. In my case, I personally manage my Twitter account, but my Facebook account and my Instagram accounts are both managed by admins. Kasi doon sa dami ng trabaho natin sa City Hall, mauubos talaga oras ko pag lahat yan ma-manage ko, di ba? So, but ang bottom line ko sana, ang personal philosophy ko, in this age, a public servant cannot have access to one medium. So, ang preferred weapon ko, like I said, is Twitter because it's fast, it's precise, and it's more business format, in my opinion. Information-driven siya. So yan ako personally, I manage my own Twitter account. My admin doesn't have the passwords to it. But yan ang talagang focus ko. Now, why do I do it? Donna, before I answer your question, hindi naman dahil I'm trying to target one particular segment. Although, admittedly, the younger set are really more in tune in social media. Na-realize ko kasi, even middle-aged people, social media makes the world smaller. And you can imagine the power it gives a local chief executive. Halimbawa, pipicturean lang nila, Mayor, walang social distancing sa bus na to, titweet sa akin. Suddenly, dumami ako eh. My eyes and my ears are everywhere. Hindi na lang ako na nasa opisina or, di ba, umiikot na ako sa barangay, pero I can be omnipresent naman everywhere. Social media somehow gives you that power to keep close to the ground simultaneously everywhere. Kasi suddenly, everybody feels empowered that they can tell the mayor what's wrong. Ano ba, ito, mayor, lubak-lubak, pak, picture, padala sa'yo. Mayor, ito si Manang, binugbog, picture, padala sa'yo. So suddenly, na lumiit rin yung Valenzuela. Maliit na nga ang Valenzuela. It's a mid-sized city. It's not a mega city naman. Lalo pa namin na paliit, and I can be omnipresently everywhere in trying to deliver services. That's why I chose to personally manage one account. Now, let's talk about that.
The woke culture. Woke culture. Culture. What advice?
A couple of days ago, I was actually interviewed in a youth-oriented program sa PTV4, which is a government-owned agency. I said, social media is liberating because people can rant there, people can express themselves. I think it's cathartic for a lot of people, eh, di ba? Lahat naman tayo, pag pikon ka, you just grab something, either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, ran away. Ako, I am guilty of that. And it's not exclusive lang sa mga younger set. Pero, like sinasabi, walang problema doon. But, you also have to translate it somehow to action. Hindi pwedeng it stays in the realm of
discussion.
Social media. There has to be a call to action, eh, di ba? So let's say that woke culture is much appreciated, but that woke culture will actually be more productive if they also convert it to physical action, di ba? Parang in I don't know if it is in physics or in science, di ba? For every action there must be a reaction. So the action there is, yes, I already cathartically express my opinion, but the next reaction should be call to action. Now, when I say call to action, it takes different forms. But ako, ang preference ko dyan is constructive call to action, meaning get involved, especially for the young people. Get involved, engage. Malungkot kasi sometimes that woke culture nga stays with the lecturing portion, but not the call to action portion. Ako naniniwala ako na the youth have so much energy. Tayo napapagod tayo eh. But sila hindi eh. Parang non-stop sila eh. So they can really put that culture into a complementary reaction wherein they get involved in their communities. How? Whether they participate in a PTA, kasi mga alumni naman yan ng mga school, whether they actually get involved in their katipunan ng kabataan through the SKs, whether they have their own news orgs, church orgs, basta move, get into the community building mindset. Then, the woke culture becomes more engaging or mas ma-appreciate siya ng mga mas may edad na siguro sa community.
Sir, you talk about reaction, di ba? How do you handle bashers? But before you answer that, we will pause for a short break.
Dito sa amin, dignidad ng bawat Valenzuelano ang aming inuuna at naniniwala kaming nagsisimula ito sa tahanan. Tinayo namin ang Disiplina Villages, mga micro-communities sa loob ng Valenzuela para sa mga informal settlers at kanilang mga kapamilya. Kumpleto ang mga ito sa basic facilities at utilities ng bawat komunidad. At kahit hindi kalakihan ng mga units, hindi kulang sa pagtutulungan at maayos na pamumuhay ang nakatira dito. Sa fully sustainable housing program namin, hindi lang bahay ang binubuo, kundi buhay. Pagdating sa housing and development, Valenzuela works.
Oh, akala ko mababayaran mo yung amilya sa City Hall.
Tapos na po.
Eh, yung marriage certificate, birth certificate,
Tapos na po.
eh di ba, mag-a-apply ka pa ng business permit.
Tapos na po. 10 seconds lang po yun.
10 seconds?
May paspas permit sa Valenzuela. Online permit system. Wala nang hintay-hintay.
Yung pinapalaba ko sa'yo.
Hindi pa po tapos.
Welcome back po dito sa Straight Talk ng Daily Tribune. Ang special guest natin today is Valenzuela Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Kanina napanood natin yung mga video, yun yung mga example, mga pruweba ng Valenzuela under Mayor Rex walking the talk. Yeah. So, meron niya talaga
may hanging question tayo. Sir, paano mo mga raw hinahandle yung mga bashers mo? We all know meron. There's a handful ba?
Siyempre, politiko rin tayo, mahaba yung tolerance level natin sa ganyan di ba? When you go into this world, you know that you can't please everybody. So, number one, you always take it with a grain of salt. Never let it get to you, di ba?
Yes.
That's one. Number two, I have this tendency na pagka-troll, malalaman mo na, huwag mo na lang pag-aksaya ng oras, sayang sayang sa oras. Pero, kapag it's a constituent that is not seeing it the way you want to see it, then just engage the person. You would probably see me in Twitter having this long conversation with people who may have a different opinion. I appreciate that. Like I said, Twitter becomes a sounding board also for people's opinion, people's sentiments. So that's much welcome. Dahil ngayon, John, na madalang ang face-to-face interaction, hindi tulad noon, di ba? There will be social activities wherein you get to see constituents more often and they get to voice out their displeasure about certain things, or they get to bash you face-to-face, no? Here, we have to find a medium to stay connected. And I don't mind at all. I don't mind. Now, syempre, may mga bounds yan. Meron yung mga talagang, alam mo naman, ang iinis na lang, nang gugulo na lang. And if you look at the account, parang kakabukas lang ng account, walang avatars, walang everything. Then you can screen them out and tune them out. Sayang sa oras yun Wala kang panalo sa kanila And by the way, John, alam niyo rin naman to Twitter has a very good filtering system. So, if you configure your Twitter account na naka-filter na dapat lahat na makakausap mo completely filled up their forms, di ba? May picture. Then makikita mo na lang doon, almost 90% are legit
Speaking of constituents, Mayor, meron ka dito constituent. Dito sa studio natin.
Oo nga.
Sir?
Pero hindi naman kami sa Valenzuela nagkikita.
Oo nga.
Full drive kung saan-saan.
Mayor, may iba naman tayo. In terms of yung law and order sa Valenzuela. Kasi I understand
last week, medyo nakakatakot yung nangyari last week, sir, di ba? There was a video that went viral. Yung dalawang lalaki na binaril yung isang nag-withdraw. So, sir, ano nang update doon? Meron bang dapat babang kaming mga bang taga Valenzuela?
Number one, it's a safe city. I would say it's a fairly safe city. Our rankings when it comes to our indexes, when it comes to crimes, mababaan. Now, syempre, hindi ko naman ma-assure sa inyo na walang masasamang loob. Meron din. Now, in that particular case, simple lang sasabihin ko sa inyo, it's an ongoing police investigation, so I can't speak so much. I hope you understand. Kasi ayaw ko naman na may mabulabog ako na mga anggulo. Pero, we already have suspects. In fact, na-publish na namin. We have bounties on their heads already. And naniniwala ako na in the nearest possible time, because the entire police of Valenzuela is working on this case particularly kasi like Donna, it's earth-shaking, di ba? In broad daylight.
Yeah, it's good.
In a major road. So we have lahat ng case we put a lot of thrust, but ito kasi we want to resolve para makalma natin ang taong bayan na nahanap na natin. But parang in 3 days time lang nakuha na namin yung mga suspects. We already have pictures of them. It's all posted and we're asking the public to help us find them. And there's a bounty to their heads.
Actually, maraming tarpaulin sa mga kalye na nandun yung mga mukha ng dalawang suspect.
Malamang, Mayor, wala na sa inyo yan.
Baka nakalabas na ng Valenzuela.
Pero the mere fact that there's social media that is helping us again, remember, we boosted those posts also over Facebook and Twitter. And a lot of people nowadays are looking for means to earn a living. hopefully the bounty becomes an incentive for them to help us find these people. And in not so many words, I am very confident that we will find them and the fullest extent of the law will be thrust against them.
Okay.
Maganda talaga na ang social media, force multiplier, ano? So,
John, it makes the world smaller.
Oo nga. Lumiliit yung mundo rin ng mga kriminal. Pero sir, ano nga ba ang lagay ng peace and order ng Valenzuela? How's the anti-drug campaign going on sa lungsod natin?
It's going well, Donna, in the sense that if you look at our per capita crime, per capita no, per 100,000, it's one of the lowest in Metro Manila. I can't say zero. Pero nitong nakalipas kasi ng mga ECQ period na may mga curfew, talagang bumulusok pababa yung crime rate because everybody's at home. Even itong nakalipas na may mga curfew. Kaya nga that was one of the primary motivator for us na while facing this pandemic, maganda tong curfew kasi everybody's at home. Number two, we also kept that long-time liquor ban. So maraming mga petty crimes ang tumigil. But we will keep on our toes. Ang local government naman has been making significant investments in making sure that our police force is well-armed, well-equipped. From brand new cars, we recently bought mga 2 years ago, 60 units of brand new cars, complete guns. We also maintain our own K9 unit. So talagang our thrust there is to arm our policemen para wala na silang rason na magsabi na hindi nila magagawa yung trabaho nila dahil wala silang gamit. Pero if I can just discuss it now na rin. Ang sad part lang, kulang na sa police. We keep on requesting sa national government, sa PNP National, ang bagal nila mag-replenish ng retirements. Sadly, meron nga kami mga police cars or motorbikes na nakagarahe dahil walang nagda-drive na mga police. So sana sa madaling panahon, ma-downloadan tayo na mas marami pang policemen. Tayo na bahala. Baril, gamit. Ang importante, we need the warm bodies to man our streets.
Kasi
kulang
ngayon,
sila.
Police visibility kasi in terms of crime prevention, napaka-importante ng police visibility. So, talagang kailangan i-replenish. Ano ba mayroong ideal ratio nyo ng policeman to your population?
Dapat 700 policemen to 700 bare minimum yun dyan, ha? Pero ang ideal natin sana to run the entire force na talagang massive visibility, sana nasa 900. And right now, we're just hovering at 550 because of the retirements. And I was told naman, the delays are also coming from, di ba nga, dahil nag-lockdown, yung mga papers na being processed for new recruits, medyo na-delay. And then, nahirapan din sila sa recruitment because for a time nga, everybody had to show your swab test, yung mga ganyan. So, but right now, I was told na sa madaling panahon marireplenish. Pero sana pag-replenish nila, damihan na nila. Kasi ang attrition mabilis eh. Maaga ang retirement age ng mga policemen, kaya madalas rin tayo na nababakantehan eh. Yun nga, ang kalungkutan ko, the LGU bought a lot of our equipment. Pero some of them are not being used to man the streets because kulang tayo ng mga policemen na iikot. So sana sa madaling panahon mabigyan na tayo.
Talagang ginulo ng pandemic na to yung mundo eh, no? Talagang yung normal, hindi na yun yung normal natin ngayon. Everyone is struggling actually. And speaking of struggles, isa pang struggle ng bawat local government ngayon is yung online learning. Etong di ba? Etong e-learning. So sir, ano bang ginagawa ng Valenzuela tungkol dito sa online learning? Ikaw na rin mismo nagsabi na hindi dapat mahinto ito. Hindi dapat maging sagabal ang pandemya na ito sa pag-aaral ng ating mga kabataan.
Donna, John, we're very proud of our education platform ever since naman wala pang pandemic. Valenzuela has been known as a LG that gives a lot of effort sa education. In fact, we were a Galing Po awardee for our Education 360 investment program noong prior to the pandemic. Now, in this pandemic, we came up with something that everybody's familiar of. For our grade 4 paakyat hanggang senior high school, we came up with a program called Valenzuela Live. Ano ba yung Valenzuela Live? In our mathematics and science high school, we converted the classrooms into streaming schools or streaming classrooms. Naging studio siya. We recruited from the division the best teachers there are, and every other day, they do synchronous learning wherein we stream out one standard content out of that school. Kasi lahat ng mga bata may module, tama yon. Pero alam mo, after listening to the parents, marami sa kanila nagsasabi, Mayor, paano namin i-administer yan? Hirap na nga kami, hindi nga namin alam paano nga, hindi nga kami nakatapos, kami pa magtuturo. So kahit na may module yung mga bata, mahirap i-administer because of lack of a standardized administration of it. That's why we came up with Valenzuela Live, your streaming school, meaning parang may mga teacher na manonood ka sa teacher mo. It's a local channel in Facebook Live. Everybody watches it. And then the following day, they do their asynchronous learning. Wherein all of them are clustered into Facebook Messenger groups or Google groups. Wherein their class advisor naman or the respective teacher in that school will do the follow-up discussion para mas maliit yung group. Kasi remember, sa streaming school, 6,000 yung mga batang nanonood. The entire division is watching that particular stream. So, importante na may follow-up lecture. So, it's number 1, modules that can really stand alone minus gadgets. But number 2, we paired it up with a streaming school. Number 3, there are asynchronous discussions happening every other day. And number 4, we are about to launch our tutorial service wherein we'll try to identify the ones that are really struggling and then we'll have other teachers do remote tutorial services. Now, that's for our high school, grade school to high school. Pero for our pamantasan ng lungsod ng Valenzuela, for our Valenzuela Polytechnic College, and for our Valenzuela Math and Science High School, we subscribe to Canvas. Canvas is an online learning management system that's Australia-based. Ito yung ginagamit ng Harvard, Ateneo, LaSalle, I believe. But here, we paid for it, and we gave it to the students for free. When I say we, the local government. And then we gave them SIM cards so that they can access it monthly, daily. Provided for ng city in subscription, you don't pay for it for Canvas. And you also get a data plan, daily data plan allocation. Now, going back to dun sa Valenzuela Live, para sa mga pinakamahihirap natin ng mga kabataan, we did a survey during the enrollment. We have around 24,000 out of the 140,000 enrollees that said na wala silang gadget at home. Yung gadgets nila padating na. The local government procured tablets and we are about to distribute it in a week or 2 weeks time dun sa mga nagsabi na wala silang gadgets.
Ay, magandang balita niya. So, 1 in 4 na mga estudyante wala, pero bibigyan mismo ng Valenzuela, ng LGU ng Valenzuela.
Yeah, pero dyan, Donna, if I can go back, ang heart and soul nun is the streaming school. I think sinabi sa amin ng DepEd, we're quite unique in the sense na kami lang ang nag-set up ng sarili naming studio. So, that solves the standardized administration of the lessons at home. We're not relying on those DepEd videos telecast on TV, kundi naka-tailor fit. Kung ano yung nakikita mo sa module ng bata, yun rin yung sinasabi sa teaching sa streaming school. So it's really personalized and custom fit to our terrain. It's conceptualized, as they call it.
Actually, sir, sino yung naging...
Contextualized.
Oo. Sino yung naging partners mo dyan? How do you collaborate with each other para makabuo?
It's only the local government.
Okay. So walang DepEd dito?
Wala sariling kayo natin itong mga Valenzuelano.
Ibig sabihin, walang disconnect dun sa modules with what are being streamed sa napapanood ng mga estudyante. Kasi yun ang naririnig natin na madalang problema. May naririnig pa kami na, panoorin nyo sa YouTube to. YouTube link na, tapos parang may disconnect talaga. Anong relevance nung panood sa amin dun sa modules na nasa?
Hindi. The lessons being taught are actually anchored on the modules. So masasabayan mo yung guro.
Sir, sino mga partners mo dito? Mga teachers, may NGO ba?
Donna, number 1, we partnered up with Smart in terms of giving those SIM cards for our college students. We bought it, dapat 299 ata yun, if I'm not mistaken, per month, pero they gave it a very good discount. Pero that's for the college side and the math school. Now, for the public schools, LGU lang lahat to, pero we have a partner, Synergia Foundation. Synergia Foundation is a partner of it's a USAID-backed NGO that does a lot of work for education. Ang mga kasama dyan, dati sila Mr. Sisip, nandyan sila Ma'am Nene Guevara, who used to be a USEC. Their main thrust is to give us content. So dito, ang partner natin sa kanila, tinuruan nila yung mga magulang through webinars to look out for nuances sa learning difficulties ng mga bata. Remember, wala na kasing guro eh. Yung guro mo sa streaming school, hindi ka naman matatanaw eh. Pero baka if the child is struggling, the parents must be able to catch up and look at those nuances para makareport siya sa mga guro and we can do further intervention. Maaga pa ngayon kasi 1 month off pa lang, pero naniniwala ako na may mga batang may learning disabilities na kailangan ma-pick up na magulang sa bahay para ma-report sa guro, para we can do the 4th stage of our intervention, which is the more personalized or one-on-one tutor, whether virtual or in learning bubbles.
Yes, Mayor, yan yung mga tinatawag natin na birth pains, ano? And it's too early, isang buwan pa lang. So, ang maganda dyan, merong proseso to identify these problem areas for resolution. So, that's nice to hear.
John, if I can just add one more, tama ka doon. One more thing that we're working with Synergia is to develop assessment tools for everybody. Kasi this is a new, uncharted territory to Hindi naman natin alam kung effective tong ginagawa natin Effective ba ang digital learning? Effective ba ang distance learning? Ang DepEd, sa kasamang palad, wala naman silang mga assessment tool. So, at least dito, we're developing our assessment tool with the Synergia Foundation, wherein after 1 semester or 1 quarter, we can randomly test children across the division to see natuto ba sila, nag-regress ba sila, o nag-progress sila.
Ayun.
John, Donna, this might be something na medyo off tangent, but let me just go back to your question. May tumulong ba sa amin, Donna?
Yes.
LGU ng Valenzuela ang nag-spearhead nito. Tumulong ang Synergia Foundation in the content build-up and in giving us the tools for assessment. Yung division ng DepEd Valenzuela, we're proud of them because they were really doing the heavy lifting in terms of developing the module. Pero alam mo, not to sound controversial, ang hinahanap ko sana yung direksyon ng regional or ng national DepEd Parang sa lagay na to, ewan ko, siguro nasubaybayan nyo, parang pinabayaan na naman yung mga LGU na pangit man pakinggan, bahala na kayo to develop for your cities and your municipalities. So, ngayon, nagkakaroon, in my opinion, iba-iba kami na naman ng administration. So, sadly, sana nagkaroon na lang ng one standardized approach. They keep on saying kasi it's being contextualized to the terrain, pero Metro Manila should have been taken as a whole. Yun lang ang lungkot ko. Sabi ko nga kay Senator Win, you know, we have, siya and I, we are quite different in our opinion. In his media press releases early on this game, he kept on saying that DepEd National is ready. But in my opinion, ang ready naman, ang nagbitbit naman na ng laro na to, yung mga LGUs na naman sadly, I didn't feel DepEd Regional, neither did I feel DepEd National help out in crafting our learning continuity plan. And I'm just saying this as a fact because that's my experience. Okay. DepEd Division, yes, but DepEd Regional and DepEd National, I really can't say that they contributed to this program.
Siguro magandang
marinig natin yung sagot ni Secretary Briones.
Nakakarating naman sa DepEd at sigurado naman na
sasagutin.
We just hope na maganda yung sagot nila. On another matter, Mayor, kasi tama-tama, sabi mo.
Donna, by the way, yung regional director nga natin, taga Valenzuela rin. And he's regional director ng Manila. So, I don't mind. Ako, John, Donna, I'm just being factual based on my experience. Si Senator Win has been praising them. He might have a different opinion but this is my opinion and based on groundwork talaga to. After being in the trenches for a couple of months now, hindi ko naman naramdaman so I'm just being honest.
Baka kailangan magkape, Mayor, with the regional director.
Attention, Secretary Briones. Sagutin po ninyo.
Wala na akong sagot na hinahanap kasi tumatakbo na naman yung programa natin.
Okay.
Ang sinasabi ko lang, tama, the LGU should be in the forefront and I'm not blaming them now. They made us the forefront. Pero sana man lang, kasi hindi naman ako educator A lot of, I think, LGUs are looking for directives from the from the DepEd National in terms of a framework man lang or a template that we can follow. Pero parang walang nangyaring gano'n Parang lagi sinasabi, contextualize it to your terrain. And that's the sad part.
I think we will hear Secretary Briones in the coming days.
Alam mo, Donna, in DepEd hierarchy, maraming taga Valenzuela doon. Si Yusek Ann Sevilla is from Valenzuela. The regional director is from Valenzuela.
Yeah, maganda kay Mayor
Kaibigan ko sila, walang problema. Pero if you ask me, this is my opinion. Masama na
correct.
I tell you. Kasi tinanong mo na ako kung sino naging partner Kasi dito sa DepEd Valenzuela really helped us with the crafting. Pero yung konsepto ang hinahanap ko, yung direksyon the regional approach to standardize things, wala
Yung overview ng forest, walang general guidance coming from the
walang mapa,
national level.
Okay, moving on.
Bago natin pakawalan si Mayor doon, nakita kay Mayor, naming names. Kaya talagang, then, will also give these people the opportunity to
Diyan when I name names, I'm not saying sila ang may kasalanan. Ang sinasabi ko lang, nagarito sila, and I don't mind na makarating sa kanila, tawagan nila ako kasi they know my number naman, I talk to them, and I'll tell them the truth. Actually, mga 1 week off the opening, pumunta pa sila dito sa streaming school namin eh. And unfortunately, that time I was in another meeting with the DOH naman na regional. So I told my vice mayor to tell them my sentiments kasi siya ang humarap na parang lahat ng nakikita nyo ay kumbaga kami-kami na lang sa lokal. Parang ganito, Donna, may bata ka, gusto mo yung bata, hawakan mo naman na yung kamay, turo mo kung paano tumawid ng kalsada. Hindi ko naman iaasa sa kanila, turuan mo lang kami paano tumawid ng kalsada, then kami na bahala, di ba? Pero parang hindi naman hinawakan yung kamay namin, pinabayaan na lang kami tumawid ng kalsada. Buti ka mo, hindi kami nabangga.
Ayun lang.
Mayor, baka hindi niyo alam ang slogan ng Daily Tribune is without fear, without favor. Parang
I know. John, I don't think there's anything destructive with what we're saying. I'm giving you tangible facts on how I felt, and I'm also backing it up with facts na talagang pwede nyo naman bulat-latin sino naging partner namin
Was speaking based sa kanyang naging experience.
With the intention of providing solutions to the problems that we encounter. Kasi this pandemic talagang maraming mga issues and challenges.
And sabi ko nga, John, kami magkapatid ni Sherwin, he's the education chairman in the Senate. I think pag nagkikita kami sa bahay, lagi kami nagtatalo tungkol dito. Alam niya yan. Kasi sabi ko, nabasa ko na naman yung statement mo, tuwang-tuwa ka sa DepEd, congrats to you, but hindi yun ang nararamdaman ko dito sa Valenzuela.
Okay. Mayor, we are pressed for time, pero hindi ka namin
sayang. Tumagal tayo sa DepEd.
So, meron pang isa. Ito yung hindi dapat mapalagpas.
Kasi, sabi mo nga kanina, early in the show, na yung mga vital services natin, walang pre-hiring dyan. Diba? Yung mga
doctors, nurses, rescue workers.
Oo. Tapos, nasabi mo din, tamang-tama, kabit-kabit talaga Metro Manila, practically borderless, So, nag-uulan na, Mayor Rex, So, kumusta ba yung natin, yung problem natin with regards to flooding sa Valenzuela?
City planning, you mean?
Yung overall condition ngayon ng Valenzuela with regards to yung issue ng flooding, kung meron pa.
Ganito yan, John. Sir. Ganito yan. Parang over the decades na yan, sir, di ba? Decades nang naging problema yung flooding. And we've seen a lot of projects being pushed by then mayors and yet walang nangyayari. So, how are you
to be fair about it, ikaw taga rito ka
Yes.
Ang Valenzuela kasi it's bordered by two mega rivers, the Maykawayan River and the Tuliahan River. Now, when it comes to the Tuliahan River, talagang mas mababa ang lupa ng Valenzuela. So pagka bumuhos yung ulan, mabilis tumaas ang Tuliahan River. Pero it's flash flood. So yung southern portion ng Valenzuela, flash floods yan, pero mabilisan mawala yan. Pero ang mas malaki na naming problema natin for a long time, yung northern flank natin, yung border ng Maykawayan. Kasi doon, nagsastagnate yung tubig over the years. Kasi pag below sea level kasi ang lupa na yun So pag tumaas ang tubig, hindi rin bumababa kaagad. So baha yung mga kalsada. Pero ito, you can ask the people there. To be fair about it, the DPWH created this JICA-funded project, yung Kamanava VOM, Valenzuela Panto Maykawayan Flood Control Project. It's been running now for at least 1 to 2 years. And bumaha man doon, ang bilis mawala ngayon kasi these are mega dikes and mega pumps. So when it comes to the planning of the infrastructure, when it comes to flood control, I would say na nagpapasalamat ako sa Pamahalang Nasyonal, sa DPWH, dahil gumagana yung programa nila. In fact, tinurn over na sa LG yung management ng mga flood control program systems na to. And napapakinabangan talaga. And doon sa northern flank namin, kung binaha nga, hindi na tulad noon na linggo may tubig pa kasi below sea level. Ngayon, mabilis namin napapump out or preemptively napapump out namin dahil ang lalaki ng mga pump. They're 5 times larger than what used to be there.
So, sir, ang fact is, hindi na mawawala talaga yung pagbaha. The good thing is, mabilis na siyang mag-subside. Is that what you're
Donna,
saying?
I think naman, even in the most advanced countries, when you're fighting against nature and climate change is in your doorstep, nobody can say zero floods. But the important thing is to alleviate it, di ba?
Okay.
Yung mabilis mawala. So, I can tell you this right now, we give credit where credit is due. Ako, I'm very thankful sa DPWH family because talagang tinutukan nila tong northern side ng Valenzuela. Yung investment they've made on the pumping stations, the dikes, tapos na eh. Natapos on last year pa. Talagang kung bahain man kami, mabilis mawala. Kasi lalaki ng mga pump. Dora, I'll give you an idea. Pag tumayo ka, yung circumference ng pump mas malaki pa rin sa'yo. That's how huge those pumps are. Mahihigop ka literally. So, you can imagine, we can literally pump out ahead of time. So, let's say may bagyo na padating, dinidrain na natin yung tubig sa mga ilog. And at the same time, the dike system is quite sturdy. Hindi pa nga siya fully enclosed, pero yung 95% na tapos na, talaga napapakinabangan. And now, we can really invest in sustainability, meaning naglalagay na tayo ng mga open spaces doon, may mga parks na sila, kasi hindi ka natatakot na masisira. Hindi ka na natatakot na long-term bahain siya, sayang sa investment.
Okay. So, we're running out of time, John. Sarap ng kakwentuhan si Mayor.
O yan, doon sabihin mo, I just don't like regional offices. Ako, I give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Kasi sabi ko sa'yo, DPWH really, araw-araw ata sila nasa opisina ko tungkol dito sa flood control. Kaya ngayon, napapakinabangan namin yung effort nila.
John, before we end, one last question. Sir, last term mo na ngayon. Ano ang plano mo for 2022?
Donna, alam mo, natutunan ko sa buhay. One day in public service is a lifetime. Netong nakalipas na pandemic, you pretty much saw na ang hahaba ng mga araw natin. Kaya next time na natin pag-usapan yan, there's still so much things to do, both for COVID and so, there's 1 year and 8 months left in this term, mga 2 years pa. So, I will just milk the most out of it in the sense na bawat oras ko gagamitin ko para ma-achieve natin yung mga plano. Bawat minuto talagang sasamantalahin natin to deliver what we promise. And then the rest will follow. Somebody nga told me over the weekend na in politics, you stop planning, you just do your job, do it well, and the rest will follow.
Okay.
So, sa susunod na lang natin siya.
Sa part 2.
Part 2.
Kasi napansin nyo ngayon, wala naman nag-uusap ng politika kasi parang it's ill-timed, I really believe. And it's too early.
Yes, okay.
Ako, Donna, ikaw, taga rito ka. Napansin mo naman na dito sa Valenzuela, our elections are always quiet kasi I really believe it's performance-driven. No? Last election nga, our entire slate ran unopposed. So, parang nakikita nila na when you, doon ka na realize it, do your job, do it well, you don't have to really politic anymore. Good governance equates to good politics and good politics equates to good governance. That's what I come to realize na wag mo isipin yung susunod na eleksyon, isipin mo yung araw mo ngayon dahil marami kang pinangako na kailangan mong gawin.
Okay.
Very well said.
Very well said.
From Mayor Rex Gatchalian. And on that note, we want to thank you, Mayor, for gracing our show, Straight Talk, ng Daily Tribune. Donna?
John, Donna, thank you for having me. And sabi ko nga, sayang, maikli lang yung oras, naubos yung oras natin sa edukasyon. Pero importanteng issue kasi yun na dapat natin pag-usapan.
So we will have part 2 and if needed, part 3 and part 4, Mayor.
Ako, baka magselo sa mga ibang guests nyo. It will be an honor and a privilege to always join your show.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir.
And with that, we thank you for watching with us. And so next week, we will be back for another episode of Straight
Yes,
Talk.
yung mga questions nyo po, isulat nyo lang sa ilalim and we will forward it to Mayor Rex Gatchalian.
And this has been your host. I'm Donna Policar.
This is John Dodson.
Saying goodbye.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders. The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang. Okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami mag-deliver.
Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Magsha-shopping!
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Kung nga naman, sir, ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap, it's a wrap. Just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring Ring apps or the in thing, you know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use, mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kami natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May, nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
yun lang ang babayaran.
Ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!